Peace and greetings to you. This is Amuna Yisrael, affectionately known as the First Lady of Debate Talk for you. I have enjoyed coming to you week after week, season after season, growing together, speaking about the difficult topics, investing the energy, time, and effort with our brothers and sisters on the panel. Today, I would like to come to you with an opportunity for you to invest in something that I've been working on and that's near and dear to me. It's called the Yummy Cottage. You can learn more about it at www.gofundme.com/the Yummy Cottage. We're currently fundraising so that we can get it off the ground, and your help would be appreciated. Once again, www.gofundme.com/the Yummy Cottage. Check the link in the box and hope to hear from you soon. Greetings. Welcome back once again. This is Imuna Yisrael, affectionately known as the First Lady for Debate Talk for you. We appreciate all the listeners, male and female, who support the Relationship Challenge and our newest edition and sister show, Under the Palm, Hebrew Women Speak. So sisters, if you have something to share or desire to be featured on the Debate Talk for You platform, please send all requests to underthepalm2@gmail.com. Once again, ladies, that's underthepalm2@gmail.com. We appreciate you and hope to hear from you soon.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk for You Radio.
Greetings, everybody. Sal, can you hear me clearly?
Yep, you're loud and clear. You're good.
All right. Yeah. What's the word, everybody? Welcome to Debate Talk for You, presented by my man Sal, the Man Up segment, and I'm your host, Brother B.A. And today's topic is war with the black male within the community and the self-inflicted wounds we suffer upon ourselves. Again, war with the black male within our own community and the self-inflicted wounds we suffer upon ourselves. And this topic is not commonly spoken about. And here on the Man Up segment, our goal and our objective is to talk and examine on matters concerning our people critically so we can do better as ourselves as a whole. And so right now, just waiting on a few brothers to come to call in so we can get the dialogue started. So is everybody on yet, Sal?
Not everybody, but we have one person here right now. So we're still waiting for the rest of the special guest that's going to be here, right here on Debate Talk for You Radio. But we do have my brother Bleedo from the Chi-Town. Welcome to the show. Bleedo, can you
I have my phone muted. Peace, everybody out there in this Debate Talk for You audience. What's up, B.A.? What's up, Sal?
Doing pretty good. So, brother B.A., do you want to just begin, and I'll bring everybody in as the show going along, or you want to wait a few minutes and play some intermission music and try to get everybody in? It's up to you. What you want to do?
You know what? Since me and Bleedo are here, we can most definitely. You know what? Let's try to give a few of the callers maybe another minute or two, not too long. If after about a minute or two, if they're not on, then we'll just move on.
I have my brother Joel. Welcome to the show, Joel. Joel, can you hear me?
Thanks, Al. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right. And my brother Yifdak. Welcome to the show.
Peace and blessings to you all. Thanks for having me on for this very important topic, bro. As always, I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you do for the community.
Most definitely. And last but not least, we have Chris Harris. Welcome to the show.
Hey, peace, everybody. All praises to the Most High. Peace to Sal. Peace to the audience. I'm real excited to be here. As a matter of fact, I'm real humbled to be here because the brothers invited me here. So all praises to the Most High, and thank you for inviting me on again, Sal.
I know, no doubt, man. Appreciate you. And I hear your background, so just mute your phone, Chris. I know you probably, outside.
Cool.
So. Just mute your phone, man. And
okay.
Everybody, that goes for everybody, too. Just mute your mics, just to avoid any background. If you're not speaking, mute your mics, everybody. And like I said, we have a new host of the Man Up segment. It's Brother B.A. I appreciate you, for coming on and, actually wanting to do this. I'm going to let you take over, brother. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Brother Sal. Like I said earlier, this topic, war with the black male, is it a reality or a fantasy? And more in depth, I want to cover the war within our community and the self-inflicted wounds we suffer upon ourselves. So let's get on with the dialogue. Now, the first question is, let's see. It's a known fact in the black community that majority of the men are absent in the home. And there are times when men are in the home for a specific amount of time and they end up leaving. Why is this happening? And let's start the conversation up with my man Yistak. And forgive me, brother, for butchering your name. Forgive me for that. But we can start with you, my brother.
Cain, as usual, honor and praise to the Most High God. For him, by all things are possible. For by him are all things possible. And don't worry about the name, bro. Trust me, you ain't the first one to mess it up. Probably won't be the last. I get it. And it's all good. In answering the question concerning, absentee fathers and things of that nature, this is something that has plagued our community for a while. From what I believe it first set off from to what it is now is probably two different things, and I'll try to be brief about this because I know each panelist has a certain amount of time. At first, what happened is they gave us welfare. And when they gave us welfare, not that welfare was solely to the black community, but when welfare was given, it was given to sisters, and they were told that in order for you to receive it, a male can't be in the home. So that kind of gave the excuse. It was the white man's way of breaking up the black family, but also it lent to the excuse of certain fathers who didn't want to be there to be absentee. Well, that might have been in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. As we fast forward to 2018, men don't really have that excuse. So the question will be, why are you absentee from the home? Well, there's a lot of things that as men we got to realize that's an issue for our community that we got to begin to address. A lot of us engage in relationships. When I say us black people, we engage in relationships that we don't necessarily want to be a part of. We weren't invested in it for the long haul in the first place. They have the statement, she was just a smash, she was just a op, op being an option. It was just something I was doing, but what ended up happening was you got her pregnant. She wanted to be with you, but you didn't want to be with her. And so now, when you're involved in a relationship that you never wanted to be involved with in the first place, it's kind of hard for you to say, hey, I'm going to go visit this woman, and you don't even like her like that. Really, the only thing that's holding you two together is the child that you created. And then when there's issues that come up with a child, whether if the child has special needs or if the child just needs things monetarily and she may not be good at budgeting or things of that nature, then you see brothers that stop and they throw their hands up and they're like, you know what, forget it, I'm out. We have to understand as a people and that when you engage in certain type of relationships, the result of those relationships. You can't sit down and think that you're going to just have fun for one night, hope things work out right, and if they don't, not man up and hold down your responsibility. Once you make a child, that is your responsibility. Not for 18 years, not for 21 years, but for a lifetime. You have to be committed to that child and what you created and what God has blessed you with. But unfortunately, what our brothers have done is they stopped and they said, well, she's good, or she got a man and her and the dude is doing good, so my seed will be good, so I don't have to commit to that. Well, I say for that, you're a sinner. How would you like it if somebody didn't want to take care of you as a child? And there are some people out there that can attest to that. Or how would you feel if somebody stopped and said to you, you were nothing more than an option? In us repairing the breach and in us being the restorers of streets to dwell in, as it speaks of in the book of Isaiah, the 58th chapter, we have to be the ones, as the men of the household, as the leaders of the household, to understand wrong things and put ourselves back in a position that people will look for us in the leadership capacity. And that being said, in us manning up and us owning what we do, and trust me, absentee fatherism isn't the only thing, and I'm sure you got some more questions, my brother B.A., but it's time for us to realize our responsibility to having a child, to building a household, and regardless if your job brings you out of that household, that you spend quality time and put quality things, morals, values into your child, that these things won't keep happening. And with that, I relinquish the mic.
Powerful words, my brother. I appreciate it. Most definitely, those are things that we have to consider if our goal was to build this nation up and to be powerful within the public eye. Because for some reason, it seems like no matter what we do, we always go 10 steps back. And with that, I'm gonna go to the next man up, my man Bleedo. Man, if you're ready, my brother, same question, and give us your information.
Yeah. So the question was basically you asking why do we believe that fathers are absent in the household? Is that what you asked, or why do they lead us?
Yes, yeah. Why? Because the question consists of, it's commonly known that the men are absent, and then you have some men who are there, but after a while they leave. So, what's your spin on that?
Oh, okay. Well, basically, what I believe in the sense is that a lot of men and women get in a relationship over lust, and over time, babies get created in that lust, and over time, the people realize, or the man and the woman realize that they really didn't love each other, really didn't like each other. So as a male, the male always has the escape route, the quick way out in a sense, and the woman gets stuck with the child. And, basically to make a long story short, that's what I believe happens in most cases. In other cases, it could be, financially and arguing in a sense to where they don't, where they separate in a sense because they can't agree on certain things. And, so that's just my answer, to keep it short and sweet.
All right, my brother. Thanks for your information. All right, next man up, Chris Harris, my brother. You got time to speak?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. All praises to the Most High. I got time to speak. Excuse me, I'm in my boiler room right now. I think go somewhere quiet. So if you can go to the next person, then come right back to me, I'll be ready, brother. Sorry about that.
All right, for sure.
Okay.
All right, the next man up, Brother Joel. If you can, expound, my brother.
Yeah, thanks. And first, just want to say I thought this was a real important thing to talk about. That's why I wanted to be on for it. Why are black homes broken? I think when it comes to the black man, I think one of the problems is us as black men, and it's basically what you guys were saying. There's no planning, there's no goal or ideal as far as what a man is supposed to do, and so people just get into relationships and just kind of just do whatever. I think that what happens is a lot of brothers, we don't know how to be leaders, nor are we trying to be leaders or think we have to be leaders. And so I think the way it's supposed to work is, you should already have a plan before you take on a spouse, whereas you should be like, well, I'm going to need a home, I'm going to need a way to provide, so everything's lined up, and now I can bring such and such in and things will work, like a, in unison, like it's supposed to work. But I think that we're so in a hurry to get ours now, and brothers are like, I got to get mine. and I don't got time for all that, whatever. I got to get mine now. And so, there's no patience. And so what happens is, people, brothers, they see a woman and they get with them and they just, well, let's make the best of it. And because nothing's been established, then it'll fall apart. There's no foundation that will stand because nothing's been planned or built. So I think that's what happens. And so I think that kind of mindset is kind of what we're dealing with, where, no one is really taking that time to really plan things out and know how things should be before you even take on a serious relationship or whatever. And I think because of that, I think frustration comes into play because, you want things to work, but you didn't plan. And so now I think brothers take it out on their woman and say, well, now she don't want to follow me. And that's another problem is, these brothers didn't plan. They didn't, put everything in order or whatever. Now they want a woman to just follow them wherever they go. No, they're not going to do that because they were looking for you to do the right thing so that they can have something to follow and have some faith in and some reliability in. And you didn't provide that. So, so I think those are some of the things that I think factor in. And, as far as our responsibility on why we're in the situation we're in, as far as fathers not being in the homes, and the home, the whole family structure being single family broken up for too much of the black community right now. I think that's a big part of it.
All right, thank you, my brother, for expounding. And my man Chris Harris, man, you got some time, or you just want to? How you doing right now?
Oh yeah, I'm cool, man. I'm ready now, man. Sorry about the wait. Okay.
It's all good, my brother. It's all good.
Yeah, well, basically, when we're talking about the black family, we can't sit back and act like that slavery hasn't affected our people in general. Okay, black people haven't been freed for that long. Now, I know a lot of people try to complain and say all you guys do is lean on slavery instead of trying to progress yourself. But we got to remember there were many incidents when black people in this country rebounded quite well, and we're doing better than the white class, the European class of people that were here that enslaved us. Now, let me say something real quick. It's looked at cool nowadays to have baby mamas. It's looked at cool now to get a fine girl pregnant and bounce on her. It's looked at cool now to be homosexual and wear purses and wear tight-legged jeans and all these, effeminate styles. Okay? That's not cool. Now, let me show y'all why. In our culture is destroying us. Every time you turn on the TV, you see a black man on TV acting effeminate. It seems like that's the only way they'll accept us. You ever look at our hip-hop artists now, they are being effeminate. You understand what I'm saying? You don't see anybody on TV talking about black businesses and recruiting black businesses in this country. This country that we live in is a bit of a hypocritical society because they say that they're a Christian community. Yet nobody can ever come to me when I open up that book and I show them, okay, this is a Christian society, but yet, according to the Christian way, you're supposed to redeem a people when you destroy them. That's what it says in our book. But yet when I bring that up, they say, oh, you're complaining. So I look at it like this. We got to start to rebuild our foundation and develop a culture. We don't have any culture. Our culture and we as a people have been destroyed. You see, the Bible teaches us, our Creator speaks to us, and he says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And we don't have any knowledge about ourselves. You see what I'm saying? Now you have black people, and I thought I would never see the day where black people be sitting up there saying, all you brothers is doing is complaining about the past. But see, we don't have a tree. We're not a tree anymore. We don't have any roots, so we can't sprout. And how do you make a tree grow that's planted? You culture it so it can become beautiful. And our people are being destroyed every time you turn on TV. All that stuff plays a game on your mind. And I'm not going to sit up here and act like that we're not a powerful people. Some of the best people in the world at everything we put our hands to. We the best readers, the best surgeons, the best lawyers, the best boxers, the best basketball players, the best orators, the best leaders. Time and time and time again, the only people in this country is suffering. We try to pull ourselves up out of a rut, and they throw us right back in it. And they say, get yourself out. You did it to yourself. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let that marinate for a little while. All praises to the Most High. I appreciate you, brothers. Shout out to Bleedo. Shout out to B.A. Brother Ishcott. I'm glad I didn't have to come on behind him. That would have been the difficult one. And I can't wait to get this conversation going.
All right. Much love to you, my brother Chris. Powerful words. And with that being said, it seems like we all agree on this matter. And there's one thing that I believe that stood out while everybody was answering. It seems like miscommunication. It seems like that we're not able to miscommunicate. We're miscommunicating as a people. And when it comes to the black man and to the black female, it gets to a point to where we don't know how to communicate with each other. Communication goes deeper than just having a conversation. Communication is based on living with each other, taking care of each other, and others within our circle and outside our circle. So, and one thing about it, if this is a constant trend, then it starts from childhood. So with the fathers missing, we tend to see that a lot of our men, they don't know how to communicate with their counterpart. And on top of that, it also affects their relationship with other men who have fathers in the home. So the next question will be, as black men who are lacking that masculine presence in the home as children, it's a major, major effect on us mentally. So let me see. So the next question will be, what are some solutions within the community for those children who are growing up without the masculine presence in the home? And I want to go with Brother Bleedo on this one because there was some information he had shared with me. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay, yeah, that's a real good question. Well, I believe that some of the solutions they really start from people who are like elders and people who have like knowledge and things like that to be able to begin to produce for those males or those young males. What I do is I work with kids at the Salvation Army, and like I kind of coach basketball in a sense, and you know I get them that conversation during basketball and after basketball, and just try to keep them understanding that even though life is at times without them really having a father figure in the household, that they could be a positive role model and come up out of that. You know what I mean? And be somebody that could be successful and help other people. I think at the end of the day, the reason why a lot of the young kids and the teenagers join gangs and stuff is because they miss that, and there's nothing for them to fall back on. Us as elders and us as people who have information and money and jobs and things of that nature, it's up to us to begin to build things and create things for them and give them, an opportunity to just not run to the streets, but run to somewhere where they can feel loved at in a different sense. So, that's what I feel like, could be a solution. I mean, a lot of teenagers love music. We can do music. A lot of teenagers love, sports. We can deal with sports. Reading and writing and all of those things. Things that they will go to school for in a sense, but they basically hand them the curriculum where we give them a voice to be able to voice their opinion and develop their own individuality and see what it is that they like to do, and then that's my spin on that.
Powerful answers, my brother. Most definitely, I appreciate that. Brother Joel, my man, can you follow up with that one? Can you follow up with the same question?
Yeah, that was a good. I think that's a good solution, and I think we can all learn from what Bleedo was saying, man. I mean, if there's no male role model for a child, other males in the community would have to be that father, and that other guys have to stand up and be something that the children can see as what a man's supposed to be. That would be the only thing I could see that would help. But like Chris was saying, and I think I guess kind of what we were all saying, that's why you need a community. And if there's no community, like in the old days, if you were living in a tribe, a tribal type of atmosphere, then you were taken care of. It was like one big family. It wasn't just the family in the home. It was everybody working together. So if there was not, if something should happen where there wasn't a man in the home, there were other men around that could still, be something of a positive influence. So, like Chris was saying, there's a lot of factors. He mentioned the way the black man is being portrayed, like, for example, Hollywood, and just the history of what black people have gone through. Definitely those are reasons as to why the black man as a whole in the community is damaged psychologically, economically, and because of that, those type of problems are more severe. Now, are those excuses? I wouldn't say they're excuses, no. Are they reasons? Yes. So, what do we do about it? Well, we know that we can't let the TV be a role model or a influence, because not a good portrayal of what a black man is. And so you can't go by anyone but what we give the children in the family home. And like I said, if there was a community within that, that's why it's so important for us to build a community. Like every other human being on the earth, we have to have our own way of controlling our influence on our own people, because that's healthy. It's not healthy to rely on another people for everything. What you think about yourself, what you need, what you eat, what you do, what you're not supposed to do, what you're supposed to do. We have to learn to create our own image of what a real man is, and what a productive man is, and so that the kids can see that. And we all have to do a good job of that, so that they can. I mean, that's the only thing I can see. I don't know. It really shouldn't be a situation where there's no man in the home. That's the way I look at it. That shouldn't even be. I mean, but since that's a lot of the situations, I would think that's one way to deal with it. The men just got to step up, and we got to be good examples, and try to heal our communities that way, I think.
That's it, my brother. You still going, or are you on your yield?
No, I'm done. That's all I got.
All right, Brother Harris, man, you got some time?
Yeah, man, I'm all good. I got plenty of time. What's up?
Yeah. So the question is, what are solutions for those children who lack the masculine presence in the home? What are some solutions?
I mean, I like what Bleedo said, but I think that a good place where all of us men, black African men in this country can do, and I say that proudly, African men, we can do is we can start opening up boys and girls clubs again. We don't have to wait on government assistance. We should start doing these things on our own, because our babies out here dying, and that's real talk. I'm from Detroit, all right, and I know I can look at a young man and tell when he don't have his father in his home. You understand what I'm saying? I'm one of the lucky ones. I grew up with my mother and my father in my home. All right, I still had the same group of friends I've had since I was 8 years old. I'm 38 years old now, so that's a long time. We like all of us are like brothers. And the problem that we're having with our youth today, minus the fact that the men are not there, our programs were closed down. After school programs were closed down, where you would have a Mr. Norman or a Mr. Greg or Officer Baskin in these after-school programs watching over the males, teaching and guiding and nurturing that tree. You understand what I'm saying? We don't have that no more. Look, we could be the richest people in the world if we just begin to sit back and think. If all our athletes, and I'm just talking about our athletes, came together and started producing and making boys and girls clubs in our neighborhoods, in the inner city, start focusing on the suburbs. I'm talking about the inner city. And then black males will want to step up and want to run certain programs within those boys and girls clubs, whether it be reading and literature, history and literature, sports and literature. Because I keep on saying our people are a very, we have great literal skills and oratory skills. Okay, that's how we've been able to trace our history on who we are. We had griots. We don't have those anymore. The answer, I always say, is with the boys and girls clubs. Okay, where you had black men running those homes, running those centers, where kids will come in after school, and what they look up and see, an older or a young black man teaching. We don't have that anymore. Now when you have a black male trying to usurp authority on somebody who's 17 or 16 years old, they look at him as an adversary, and it shouldn't be like that. They should be looking at him as some wisdom, as a leader. And, you know, we need to start getting back to coming together as a people again and creating boys and girls clubs, okay, and getting with one another after high school. Because I remember when gangs rose in the late 90s, early 90s, late 90s, 95 to 2000, they were closing down all the sports programs back home in Detroit. So that kids found other outlets, you know what I'm saying, where they found older males, okay, and the older males enticed them to come into the streets. Where before, when you had the boys and girls clubs, you had the older males enticing them to come learn how to play baseball, learn how to play hockey, learn how to play golf and tennis. They took all those programs and the funding from the inner schools and they placed it to the suburbs, around the surrounding areas around them. You see what I'm saying? It's the minority, it's the majority and minority game they play. So we got to come together, all our athletes, all our teachers, all our businessmen, and we got to learn how to invest in ourselves first. Because the black dollar only spends one day in the black neighborhood. I don't even think it stays in the black neighborhood for 12 hours. Where when we had Black Wall Street, the black dollar stayed in there, and these are facts, ladies and gentlemen. The black dollar stayed in Black Wall Street for over 6 months. Everybody else do it but us, because we are a consumer group. You understand what I'm saying? We got to get together and start building back up our infrastructure and start leading these young men again. Because our hip hop music gone, our conscious music gone. They don't want to market that no more. The black man, throughout the media, I want y'all to pay attention to something. I'm not trying to get off topic here and be long-winded, but y'all remember a year ago where almost every time y'all turned on television, it was a black man being killed by the police. And I said they don't understand the after effect that has on the minority group of people versus the majority. The majority, the shock value is gone, and they become apathetic towards it. But the minority, it's like, man, we can never get justice. And it makes us think we're the minority. You understand what I'm saying? It makes us think that we're lesser than what we are because we're being gunned down like dogs in the street. And then what's the first thing we do when we complain? They sit up there and say, well, you do it to each other. So, as I said, I can't wait. I hope maybe we can open up the lines. I don't know how this goes. I'm real excited to share some ideas, say what's on my heart, say what's on my mind. With that, like I said, it's an honor to be here amongst these group of brothers here. That's it. That's all I have to say about that right now. We need more boys and girls homes.
All right, my man, brother Yitzchak, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, my brother. Share your information, man. Expound.
Okay. There's a quick thing I need for us to know. There's two things happening. You know, one, as a people, I think we're trying to build from the outside in, when in truth, we got to build from the inside out. Mm-hmm. We have to build up our homes in order that once we step out and we share this knowledge, as we impart it on others, they can see we live what we teach. And I say that because there's two things happening with us that we need to realize. One, there's the false narrative. The false narrative is that every black male ain't you know what. All black men want to do is X, Y, and Z. You know, they got this Mr. Andrew that's going on that stops and says, oh, this is what this brother's going to do to you, sister. He's just going to sleep with you. He's going to dog you out. He's going to treat you like you're nothing. And then you're going to be stuck with this child. And then what are you going to do? So don't let him do it. So what ends up happening is she approaches the relationship with reluctance, not with the intent to build, but the intent to protect. Understand the difference between the two. Not with the intent to build, as in your family, but the intent to protect yourself from what this man might do to you. Well, the thing I stop and say is, if you always on the mode of I gotta protect, then how can you possibly build? Because you're already looking at him based on the narrative in a negative manner. This is what he's going to do. And not only does she believe it, her friends reinforce her to believe that this is what men do. And then brothers never have a chance to become a good father or become a great father or become a great grandfather because you're living in mode of I constantly have to prove myself to you based on what you think I might do. Well, that can't happen because nothing positive comes out of that. Imagine looking at somebody every day thinking that they're a thief. You're afraid to ever let your guard down because you're like, he or she is going to take my stuff. Well, that's what happens in the household. One, there's a false narrative that we're living with that sisters think this is what the brother's going to do. And then also we're dealing with how sisters, once we have a child with them, how sisters stop and portray that male figure to that child that both of y'all built together. Now, trust me when I tell you, the male has his fair share portion in this stuff. Sisters don't just come and think of this stuff in their head. It's based on other people's negative interactions that has allowed them to believe that this may happen to me with good reasoning. You know, when we listen to the music, and I heard the brother talking about the music, when we listen to the music, where's our positive role models? You know, the thing I hate to see, you know, it's like when they show a positive black male role model, it's because he's pushing a baby carriage or he has that strap around his back with the baby hooked up to his chest and he's walking with the baby. And that's a real male because he's around his family. He's there for the family. Why are we not showing the providers? Why are we not showing the protectors? Where's that male that's a millionaire that didn't get it off of selling drugs in the street or beating somebody out of X, Y, and Z, but he actually came from the ground up, got an education, went and got his degree, got 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 4 degrees, and actually made himself a millionaire? How come we don't constantly talk about those people? Those people are not in the news that we watch. Those people are not glorified in the songs that we listen to. More so, we hear about somebody whipping it up in the kitchen, their hand with the ice on it, the wrist with the ice on it, is the one that I hold the Glock with. We listen to this stuff, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's what it is. You know, before I turn this drug money into rap money, I should have been doing 100 years or even better. And they're talking about jail time. And we sit down and we condone it, whether we realize it or not. And trust me when I tell you, I get it. You hear the music, you hear the beat, you want to dance to it, and it's like, okay, but is it subliminally influencing the outcome? And the answer to that question is yes, it is. because now it's like, oh, yeah, that's the way, as opposed to, listen, you got to go to school and get this. Listen, you got to go and get that degree, no matter how hard it may seem to you. I understand that that's not what it is, but once you have this degree, you can have valuable skills that you bring back to the community. So once they see that there's an absentee father, and once they see that this is what's glorified in the music, and once the child is reinforced with information that says your father ain't nothing anyway, the child stops and he goes, well, I got to figure this all out by myself because my father can't figure it out for me. There's not a positive role model to stop and say. It's not that the information isn't there. It's not that the role models aren't there. It's just not what's promoted in the home. We got plenty of people who do good. The question that our children are faced with, why should I emulate him? Because I don't see him on TV. Who do I emulate? I should emulate the person that's getting it, not the person who's just talking about it. Because I can have anybody give me a sermon. I get it. If you come on the Sabbath day, I can listen to you and what you say, but life is going on after this. Mr. Teacher, Mr. Preacher, or whoever you're getting your information from. So we stop and we see it, and because the way our society is set up, it facilitates you doing things the wrong way and getting away with it for a while because of the neighborhoods we live in, because of the hoods we live in, because in the ghettos that we live in. You can't even stop and realize that in that ghetto, crime is allowed to happen to a certain degree. And that when you go to places outside of the ghetto, not nearly that level of crime is permitted. They make sure they nip it in the bud. So what I'm saying here is that I believe in the proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. But I also believe in the Holy Scriptures, and for lack of a better term, the biblical sense, as it says in the book of Amos, how can two walk together unless they be agreed? And so what I'm saying is we all have to get on the same page. That's the problem with the household. She's not on the same page with him. He's not on the same page with her. They're not on the same page with the child, and everybody is doing what they want to do. Well, as the leader, it's your responsibility, and I want to focus on that word responsibility. It is your responsibility to make sure that they follow what's good. You don't expect a plant to water itself. You go and water it. That's your job as the leader. That's your job as the caretaker. You have to reinforce positive images and be a stellar role model to your wife, to your child, and to every soul that lives in that home. And if you don't water those souls, somebody else will be watering it for you. The only question is, will it be for the positive or will it be for the negative? And with that, I relinquish the mic.
Thank you, Brother Murray. I appreciate that. And then for those who are listening, the phone number is 319. Let me get it. Hold on for a second. I apologize for that. We would like to hear the feedback from those who are listening. And the call-in number is 319-527-6239. We would love to hear the feedback from those who are listening on the website or if there are any callers that are listening, please press 1. We would like to hear your dialogue and feedback and bring some more points to the table. And with that being said, that leads me to the next question. At one time in the black community, there was some unity years ago, and part of that was because the black church. At one time, the black church was a powerful force. It was a powerful moving force for our people. It was more than just a church, more than just a place of preaching. It was actually, the church played a big part in community activism. And over the years, we've seen that the black church has lost that motivating force. Why is that? Why has that happened? That tends to. It seems like now the black churches are in it just to win it when it comes to money. So with that being said, my brothers, Why has the black church failed us? And I'm going to start off with Brother Joel.
Yeah, well, I actually wanted to expound on what the brother just said, and I think the answer is pretty much the same for probably all these topics. When it comes down to it, we can't prosper or do better or even do the Boys and Girls Club like Brother Chris was saying. We would like to do a lot of things, but the bottom line is we can't do none of them if we're broke. So I think the mindset as far as, we keep talking about build, okay? You need money to build. And so, and I'm going to get to the whole church thing because that's part of it, because religion is something that's been sucking a lot of our money. But the thing is, we haven't been taught how to make money or how to generate revenue or generate money, because that's how you build a community. Go get a job. And so that's all we know. So other peoples are kind of hip to, you know what, the way you really build is not to go work for somebody else. You have to build your own source of income. And we haven't been doing that. And I think that's the main way that we're going to get anywhere. Because let's say, we have to, if you find ways to be your own boss, make your own money or whatnot, that does a lot of things. First of all, you'll have more time to spend with your kids. You'll have more time to do those things like with the clubs and do different things. And you have a way, like the brother was saying, we have to teach our own children the things they need to do. Well, if you have something for them to see, they see brothers working for themselves. They see a brother running a store or something. They'll see that. You put your kids in the store with you. Let me show you how to run this business. Let me show you how to do this. And you'll be working. And they're busy. They're not out in the street. They're not out doing whatever because they don't know what to do. They got something to do, and they know that that's something that is going to benefit them later. And so, these are the type of things that are not in our communities that we need. So as far as the churches, the thing with religion, okay? Religion is something that people believe, and that has no bearing on your status economically, financially, or how you're going to live your life in society, making money and things like that. Religion won't have any bearing on that. So that's why it hasn't benefited us. It just benefits the preacher. So I think for us to really build, we need to put all that on the sideline when it comes to that. I think what happens is we've let our religion, I'll just say religion has been used as one of the tools to divide us up and to cause confusion. And that's one of the things breaking up our communities. Well, because of what I believe, I'm not going to deal with you because you're evil and you don't believe like me, so I'm going to stay away from you. I'm not going to work with you because you believe that over there. So, I'm not going to deal with you. But I'm looking at these other people. I see Jews and I see Arabs and I see all these other people that also deal with religion. They don't have that kind of problem. They still are able to work together. Why? Because they put all that religious stuff to the side and they say, you know what, we all got to eat. We got to survive, so let's make this money. Because survival, things like we all have to eat, we all have to make money, we all have to survive and take care of our children, those things supersede religious doctrine. And the way you treat each other, you know what, I want my brother to eat. I want my brother to do well. Those things you don't need no religion for. And most religions have those type of values anyway, okay? So I think if we're really going to get better as far as, building, we have to know where religion belongs on that plane and where it don't belong. So I think that's that's an issue as far as in that sense. I think that we got to stop, being against each other or whatever because of different religions, because that's part of the problem. I think religion needs to be put in a certain spot, and it can help in certain ways, but it shouldn't. Religious beliefs shouldn't supersede the main goal or the main agenda, which is our people need to heal, and we need to, like you say, rebuild. And for us to do that, we can't have all these divisions, which a lot of times, unfortunately, religion causes. So that's what I think on that.
All right, thank you, my brother. And for those who are listening again, if you want to, if you're not able to call in, you can also email your questions at debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. Email your questions, comments, and observations, again, at debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. And my man, Brother Harris, you available?
I'm here, man. What's up?
Yeah, my brother, the question is, why is the black church failed?
The black church failed because everybody trying to make $1. And nobody in there trying to, the church unit is supposed to uplift people, not sit up there and take their money, teach them a false doctrine, then tell them, oh, you ain't got to do this, but we going to focus on the past part. So this is what all the churches have done. Joel hit right on it, and I know he didn't really want to go into it, but I'll go there. And they've taught you to hate your brother if you don't believe in Jesus, or hate your brother if they don't believe the way you believe. That church pastor has uplifted himself above the congregation. And Jesus didn't even uplift himself above his apostles. He kept himself at the same level because he did not make God exclusive to just himself. And this is what they've done. They do not teach that you are a great people. They teach you to continue to pray, get on your knees, that somebody going to come out the sky and save you, and it's better on the other end instead of saving yourself now. Hence the term, as you hear in the book of Matthew, repent for the kingdom is near. But see, nobody never want to talk about that. And when you bring it up to the pastor, you want to know what he does? He shuns you, and he pushes you away because you opening up the book and reading it for yourself. How many times have you heard on this platform, you've heard somebody, say for instance, a leader of a certain debate team, they go like this, well, I got to check with our leader to see if I can do this, or I got to check with him to do this. They teach you to hate your brother and don't be around your brother because they don't believe like you do. But they'll open up the book, find the money part, and then tell you you have to do this in order for God to love you. You know what destroyed us again in our communities? Integration. When we integrated, that destroyed us too. That took us apart because we wanted to be with the same people that hated us. And then they came into our neighborhoods and opened up stores and siphoned our dollars right from underneath our nose. Mm-hmm. Read the book, Destruction of the Black Man. Read the book, The Destruction of the Black Civilization. It's been going on since we had our Afro-Asiatic kingdoms over there in Kush and in Egypt. We let everybody in, and they came in and stole everything from us. And it continuously goes on. This is our problem as a people. We don't want to address the issues. But let the pastor get thrown in jail. You want to know what's going to happen? Everybody going to start crying. Everybody begging for Eddie Long not to go to jail. They teach you to pray for something better to happen to you rather than you save yourself. When you read the book, when you read Moses did something to save his brother. David fought the Philistine on his own. Abraham heard and listened and said, I'm out of here. They acted first. We waiting. We being taught to be submissive. That's not what the Bible teaches. That's not what Torah teaches me. You're supposed to be reactive. You're supposed to take charge. And this is all I'm saying. I know I'm coming off a little harsh,
and a little hard. I don't want to take up too much time, but integration destroyed us. Them pastors are constantly destroying us because when you go to them, they throw you away. They're supposed to be leaders in the community. They need to be held accountable, just like I need to be held accountable for my actions. All of us on this line tonight need to be held accountable for our actions. No one's going to save you, people. We got to save ourselves. That's the bottom line. It's not that hard. Go out there and be active in your community. Take back your streets. The Black Panthers did it. You know what makes me mad when I look at our history? When I look at the Black Panthers and how powerful they were when they saw them young black men coming together, learning the law, learning how to decode the law, you know what they did? They sold Huey P. Newton crack cocaine. What black man sold the face of the revolution crack cocaine? We sick as a people, and we destroying ourselves, and we don't know how to get up out this rut. That's why I came on here, because I want to see if anybody got some answers for these things. Man, forget that church. That church dead. Christianity dead. That ain't doing nothing for our people. Christianity ain't doing nothing. And I said it. It's killing our people. It teaches you that it's okay for the police to shoot your children, and you forgive him. I hate my enemies, and I said it, but I love my brother. With that, I'm sorry, I done got a little emotional. Let me bring it down a little bit, but I'm telling y'all, man, we got to get this together going into the next 5 years, because it's going to get serious. Yeah, you can have the line back, man.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate your words. All right, my man, Brother Murray, you go right ahead, my man, and expound.
Okay, peace and blessings once again. Yo, Brother Chris Harris, I can definitely appreciate your message, brother. You know, this is how it goes. Too far and too long as a people, we haven't called a spade a spade. And I'm not going to make the church the scapegoat. But what I am going to say is there have been leaders lacking in the church community that have not fed the people what they need. You know, there's the saying, woe to the shepherd that leads the sheep to slaughter. There's also the saying, hailing my people slightly, saying peace, peace, when there is no peace. I don't know if we know what's going on outside, or if we're paying attention to what's going on outside, or if people think we're over-sensationalizing an issue. But the fact is, there's some people who are involved that failed us. And the church is part of that group. It's not solely part of the group. It's not solely the reason why we failed, but they have their role in it. You know, and us getting back to where we need to get to, we need to stop and tell people what needs to happen. As a people, we don't like to be told what to do. We like it so that I should have the option, and if I do it, I do it. I don't, I don't. Well, that's about one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. If you want to go and jump off a bridge, and you say it's my life, so if I want to get rid of it, I should be able to get rid of it. How many people would agree with that? You'd never agree with that. And if you did agree with that, you'd be a fool. It's the same thing of where we need to go as a nation. Everybody's not an economist. But those who are economists need to play their role and let the people know what they need to do in order that we can bring capital to our communities and build and grow. That's what needs to happen. That can't happen in church because that's not what's being said in church. If we got people who are doctors who need to stop and tell us, not only teaching us how to heal our wounds, but teaching us preventative measures in order that we won't get sick to the level that others get sick. I'm talking about nutritionists, people that teach us about healthy diet and healthier ways of living, that teach us the dangers of smoking cigarettes, and that cigarettes are actually precursors to other things that you want to do when you go to smoking marijuana and smoking crack cocaine. You don't hear that type of talk in church because that's not what's happening in church. You hear it on the street. You see a brother here or a brother there that's speaking strongly about it, and somebody has to stop and say, oh, listen, you actually need to hear that brother. Because radio shows like this, internet radio shows like this, need to have this information on it, reaching a wide scale of people so that we can be forewarned of the dangers that plague us as a community. We're looking for answers from church where the answers can't be found there. Would you say you're sending your child to school and you send them to church? Or would you send them to an institution that is specialized in teaching kids and nurturing kids so they should build and grow? So it's not fair to put it all on the church. But remember what I said about our narrative. Remember what I said about our perspective. Where are you looking for the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that's required of you in order to be successful? And so what I'm saying is we've been looking in all the wrong places. We don't stop and have sessions about building proper family. We think we're just going to go out, leave our parents' houses, and have a successful family. Oh, yeah, I came from a broken home, but don't worry about that. When I go and get married, I'm going to understand what to do because I have a point of reference. Well, where's your point of reference? It ain't on TV. It ain't on your home. It's not in your home that you grew up in. So where's your point of reference? From your neighbors? Or do you believe just because you think to do the right thing that you'll do it? Well, not that I believe in heaven and hell, because I believe in heaven, but I don't necessarily believe in hell. But they have the age-old adage that the path to hell is paved with good intentions. Meaning, the way to your demise is based on good intentions of what you thought you would do one day, but never got done. And so what I'm saying is, for us as a people, what happened to that? Are we destroying our own roadways? Are we destroying our own paths? Or are we actually paving it and letting it go forward? Where are those people that have us thinking progressive as a nation? Where's it at? How are we going to get it done? Just because I speak well, that doesn't mean I have all the answers to the situation. I need your help, brother. I need your help, sister. I need for us to do this collectively. This isn't about me being on my soapbox. This is about us getting to the end of the journey. If you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, do it together. We haven't grasped the concept yet as a nation of people that we need one another. We're stopping and we have an individualism mind state that can't continue to go on. We've stopped and we've seen multiple movements happen simultaneously. Black Panthers, the Nation of Islam, and the Church with Martin Luther King. Movements that were happening simultaneously, galvanized by our treatment as a people and under the umbrella of civil rights. We've seen all three movements go forward with a head of steam, and we've seen the white man destroy it all. And then after he destroyed it, he blamed you. And he told you, that's not my fault. A black man shot Malcolm X. Black men shot Malcolm X. They stopped, they said, that's not my fault. Huey P. Newton, he's the one who told y'all to bear arms and to shoot the devil and to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah, he was putting breakfast in the hood. Yeah, he developed those programs, but why is he telling y'all to pick up guns? For what? He got what he deserved because of the life he chose. And then they start running our own terms on ourselves. Live by the sword, die by the sword. So they stop and make us believe that we did it to ourselves. Like on Martin Luther King, we loved Martin Luther King. It was just one rogue man who went and decided to kill him. Like we really believe that somebody didn't put him up to it. And even from contemporary history, we know that the man who they claimed did it even said himself, I wasn't the one who did it. So what do I stop and say? Is the answer in the church? No. Why are we looking to the church for the answer? If the only place we can look to for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is to religion, then we failed ourselves from the onset. I heard Dr. Cornel West say, our community is not lacking leadership, it's lacking strong black leadership. That's the part that we're missing. And we oftentimes look for it in places that we think it should be, and it's probably not there. It's time for us to build and grow and stop believing that the answer could be only found in one place. The only place for you to eat is not in your refrigerator. Ask yourself the question, how did the food get to your refrigerator? Where did it start at? And when we answer that question, there has to be a farmer. There has to be a land. So in order for us to be self-sustaining, we have to have farmers and we have to have land. In order for us to understand how a proper economy is supposed to run, we have to have highly skilled educators that can stop and say, this is how the community will thrive. Because when you stop and you do that, now you're talking nation building. Now you're talking sovereignty. Now you're talking building from within out and not from the outside in. It says in the Holy Scriptures, the nation of Israel is a people that should dwell alone. It goes on further in the book of Deuteronomy to stop and tell us that you should be the head and not the tail. Well, if you believe it and you live it and you claim it, you can't be the head without knowing what the head needs to do. And so what I'm saying in closing, as we stop and we look and say, what are we doing? The only problem with the church is that we look for the church to do more for us than we're willing to do for ourselves. Think about that and let it be. I relinquish the mic.
Powerful words, Moray. I appreciate you. And Brother Bleedle, and after Brother Bleedle, we're going to go to the callers.
Yeah, I think I'm going to kind of go back to the way you kind of formed the original question. I think you kind of took a turn while the brothers were speaking. What I want to say is when I was growing up, I'm kind of like raised in the streets or whatever. I did dealt in the gangs and all that as well. The church that I had that was like down the street from my house, they had a pastor there. I don't say names or whatever, but this pastor, he had what was called Good Friday, I believe, or I can't remember what it was called, but it was something on Friday. So every Friday, the community would come to the church. They would give us free, like, food or whatever. I don't remember what it was, nachos, hot dogs, whatever it was. When in the summertime, there would be basketball outside, softball games. The girls would jump rope. We would interact with each other. And other games, in a sense, would come to the same thing every Friday, and it would be peace, in a sense. So when I was younger, I did see a church that had a structure that actually was good. Because, I got my own view as far as the religion and the church and all that, but I did see in the community where a reverend or a pastor actually cared for the community at a specific point. And on every Friday, we would get together and do those type of things. Secondly, I like to say, as far as days, as far as the church today, we kind of live in an information age in a sense, like where you have everybody that kind of have these different beliefs, and there's always been different denominations in the church, things of that nature. But we live in an information age, so a lot of people don't really rely on the churches in a sense like they used to. So the church is not what it used to be. Like you said, it used to be a strong black church and things of that nature back in the day. Well, now it's not that, and a lot of these churches have different messages like prosperity and things of that nature. So it's not really centered around the community. It's not really centered around what goes on in the community. And, I really don't know why, it took a turn like that. I don't know, I guess money or whatever it may be. But I mean, besides what people believe when it comes to religion, they are supposed to be, what word I want to say? They supposed to be the ones that's supposed to kind of show what the community, in a sense, needs, especially when you got a church and a community. So I just like to say that, as far as what you were asking, as far as like it being strong and what happened, I actually did witness it being strong in a sense, and then I watched it fall. So with that, I'll relinquish the mic.
Thank you, my brother. And before we go to the callers, I would like to say this. Over the past year and a half, going on 2 years, we have noticed that the Hebrew Israelite movement is growing. A lot of brothers and sisters are starting to come into the knowledge and realize that they're Israel. And I believe it's a powerful thing, because what this movement is doing is a powerful force, and it's provoking our young brothers and sisters to righteousness. So rather brothers choose to be whatever ideology within the movement, I respect it and I love them for wanting to be righteous and coming into their identity. And we also realize there have been some outside forces engaging with the Hebrew Israelite community, and this is my personal opinion. I honestly believe that there's the outside forces. They want us to come back to Christendom. And one thing I will say, that this movement is powerful and is growing, and there are some beautiful things coming out this movement. And I'll just say this: we're not coming back to Christendom. We're not coming back. And that's not against Christ, because I'm a follower of Christ, but I have an issue with Christendom. And with that being said, Brother Sal, let's go to the callers.
All right, family. Once again, if you didn't know, that number is 319-527-6239. If you just joined in, today's show is entitled, this is the Man Up segment, first of all. It's the Man Up segment, and today's show is entitled War on Black Men in the U.S.A. Fantasy or Reality. All right, so let's go to the phone lines. And for those that are new to the show, once you call in, you got to keep it clean, keep it professional. And once you dial that number, you got to press number 1, and that lets me know that you have a question. So let's go to the panel. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to 916-747. You're live in air.
What up, Debate Talk for you, Sal, Brother B.A. This is Ashanti. Praise Yah. How y'all doing?
Much love to you, big sis. What's good?
I'm enjoying the brothers, Brother Bleedo, Brother Moray, who just talked, and Brother Chris, who was on fire earlier. I just want to add my 2 cents, if I could. As a daughter of Zion, a Hebrew sister who now knows she's Israel, which is one who rules, prevails, and contends and strives with the Most High Yahweh Elohim, because that's what Israel is. I'm appreciating you, brothers. I want to say I love y'all in this dialogue, and just keep up the good work. I want to say a verse real quick. Isaiah 30. It says, woe to the stubborn children, declares Yahweh, to make counsel, but not from me, and to devise plans, but not of my spirit, in order to add sin to sin. That's verse 1. And then over in verse 8, it says, go, write it before them on a tablet, inscribe it on a scroll, that this is a rebellious people, lying children who refuse to hear the Torah of Yahweh, who say to the seers, do not see, and to the prophets, do not prophesy to us what is right. Speak to us what is smooth, prophesy deceits. And this is what I believe is happening. Our brothers, our brothers have been taught, and us sisters as well. It's a trickle-down thing, but our brothers have been taught by our oppressors. If we think about it, all of us here on the line, we have ancestors who came off the slave ships, and once the slaves were freed, we were told to go figure it out, go get a job. Like Brother Maurice said, we were told to go get money, but not told how to go get money. We were told to go work for somebody else. And me coming up, right now I'm into stocks and mutual funds and bonds and Roth IRAs and things of that nature. I'm actually investing in myself. I don't tithe. You're only supposed to really tithe 3 times a year, but I don't tithe. I actually, me and my husband, we do invest. We talk about financial advisors all the time. People are like, what is that? So we're having to reteach. But understand that you, my brothers, and I as well, we've been taught by our oppressors just to go figure life out. We have been taught by them what it is to be a man. We have been taught by them what it is to be a woman. We have been taught what it is in their eyes, from their eyes, what it means to be masculine. We have been taught from their eyes what it means to be feminine. And what we have done is doing that for so long, mama and daddy, grandma and grandmama, a big mama and pawpaw, they have regurgitated what the oppressors have taught us in this society. So BA always talks about build, and I love it. But the thing is, build or rebuild, we have to tear something down first. We have to tear down what we've been taught is right. We've been taught what this Bible means from their perspective. The Father's perspective is way different. Now, I'm one for textual criticism. I've been studying biblical Hebrew, and now I'm studying biblical Greek. Right now, from what I'm seeing from the Hebrew, I'm able to break down doctrine. I'm able to break down things that have been taught from the church. We really don't have a clue. We need to get equipped for ourselves, like Brother Chris says, and act upon these things ourselves. The preachers, they're put there as the leaders because that's what the people want. The people want to be prophesied to things smooth. They want to be told that everything's going to be all right and be easy. No, it is not. We're taught that, oh, this person is a leader, that person is a leader. Well, from the scriptures, I've been looking up and down, Genesis to Revelation, Hebrew to Greek, where it says what our mindset of a leader is and what it's supposed to be. We're taught that the man is supposed to be this over the woman, and the woman is supposed to be this. But are we looking at it from a scriptural perspective and pulling from the scripture, or are we impressing upon the scripture what we've been taught by society? Society has ripped the black man. Society has ripped the black man. Society has ripped the black woman. But the thing is, the black woman, sometimes she gets a lot of the blame because she's there close. But the people, we need to understand, yes, the power is within us to save ourselves. The power is within us to save ourselves. We have to go back and rebuild. That means tear everything down and start from that means broken heart and contrite spirit. Learn from the Father what it is to be that masculine principle. Learn from the Father what it is to be that feminine principle. We have things so jacked up that we're impressing them upon this scripture. And that's where we're getting things ignorantly done. And lastly, I'll say this. I'm a woman. I'm married 11 years. When I'm allowed to be the ezer, or the helper, the aid, the protector, and deliverer for my husband, I'm not trying to take over his role. I'm doing what the Father made me in my role, built into my DNA, to do what he formed me to do on this earth. When I'm allowed to do that with my husband and for my husband, we get great things accomplished. And what I'm saying here is, brothers, allow us, sisters, allow your sisters to do what the Father built in our DNA to do with you, and that is to build with you. And we cannot have the gender wars. We can help raise our black man. Our black man can be much more successful if he lets that side of the spirit manifest and do its thing. And I'm here with y'all. I want to say I love y'all. Continue to do this work. This is just the beginning. Shalom, shalom.
Man, that's powerful, big sis. I love you for that, and I appreciate you for that. Like my sis said, Destroy and Rebuild. One of my favorite rappers is by the name of Nas. He also goes by Godson. He got a song called Destroy and Rebuild. And with that being said, I would say this. When it comes to the masculine and the feminine, that was created in the image of the Most High. He created them equal. And another thing is that when she brought up the Azer, which we understand that's the woman, we have to realize if we're going to destroy the old doctrines and rebuild this nation, we have to put it back into Torah perspective. And Torah perspective says that the Azer is our deliverer, and the man, he is the protector and the keeper, and they both play their position. The man plays his position in his space, and our women, they play the position in their space. And once you have that, the image of the Most High Yah will be magnified and glorified. Together, man and woman united in the Most High, they are also anointed, which also lines up with Mashiach or Messiah. And I'm going to let the brothers, any brothers want to add on to that, what my sister said? Anybody? Okay.
I'll say something. I was just waiting to see if anybody. Yeah, that was powerful. This is Joel, and I would just say some of the things that stick out about what you said. One thing you said was we have to find the power within ourselves to make differences. And you also mentioned some of the things you do. You mentioned getting involved with stocks and bonds and things like that. I think that that type of information is what's not being talked about, how to do those things. And like I was saying before, I think that we have to learn how to deal with what everybody else is doing as far as economic power, how to get economic power, how to build economic power, wealth, stuff like that. I think that's the kind of stuff that's missing. And as far as, like I said before, religion, what we believe, I think that we have to, some of the things that we look at as being moral, the way I look at things now, I was a Hebrew Israelite for 20 years. I look at things a little bit different now. And I look at things that have worked and things that haven't worked. And some brothers talked about the Panthers and a lot of stuff that hasn't worked. And the way I look at things now is...
Hello? I think the brother's call dropped. Hopefully we can get Brother Joel to come back in. Anybody else want to add? Any questions, comments, observations, anything that stands out? Okay.
Shalom. This is Moray. I jumped in.
All right, go ahead, Moray.
You know, in response to the sister's comment, sister, just remember, we're coming back as a nation. And in us coming back as a nation, there's a lot of things we have to unlearn. So I hear your message and it's strong. Stay strong in your message and continue to be that Ezra. It would be Ezra in this case, as a female. Continue to be that help to your man and your husband and things of that nature. And we as a people, your message needs to continue because we need to realize that we need everybody in order for this nation to build. It's not just, I know my message is strong about being the head of the household and men reclaiming their roles. That's important. And it's also, too, because I'm telling you from my own mother, what she taught me, my father was absent in the home. And she reinforced in me. She said, no matter what, always be a man. That's what my mother told me. She said, don't let nobody run over you, and especially, and some people may not like it, but keeping it totally for what it is, she said, and especially don't let no woman run over you. She said, you're the man of the household, you be a man, and you let them know what your expectation is. And I remember that from a young age because she must have told me that when I was about 8 or 9 years old. And so when that happens, that doesn't mean that you rule with an iron fist. That doesn't mean you put your woman down. But if you're coming into a role, you never question your parents' role. You never stop and say, if you're my father, why should I listen to you? Or if you're my mother, why should I listen to you? You acknowledge that that's your parents and they're a provider and you have to follow that lead. And we don't have any problems with that. And so the same thing that I say is when you have sisters come along with a strong message like how you have, keep that message going. Keep it going in the sense that everybody plays their role for what they're good at. If my wife is better at certain things than I am, I shouldn't be suffering from black emasculation. I shouldn't be suffering from emasculation, not black emasculation, but emasculation, and stop and say, oh, no, I don't want you doing that because you're a woman. If you can teach me too. Help me to get where I need to. Notice my flaws. Reinforce me for the things that's good, and let's serve God together. I relinquish the mic.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yo, Sal.
Yeah, I'm back on.
Oh, you want to go to the next caller?
Joella. Yeah, hold on. Actually, Chris is here and Joella's back. This call actually dropped, but both people are back.
Okay. Brother Chris, did you want to say something real quick, or you want to wait for the next caller?
Well, I just wanted to sit up there and say I don't understand how Huey P. Newton got what he deserved, because once again, that's that mindset. Huey P. Newton said the same thing that the man in Jesus said: pick up a sword. It's time to fight back. He didn't live by the sword. What about the same? This is not against the moray or the elder, but it's a mindset that we're trapped in. And that's why I'm saying that sometimes when I feel like people pick up the Bible, it becomes a tool. And it can either be a tool for life, or it can be used as a tool for death. Now, we just seen during that time when Huey P. Newton developed the Black Panther Party, they didn't just do breakfast. They implement breakfast programs. They implemented gun rights. They taught everybody gun rights. They taught people how to read. They had after-school programs. They had many things. But it's a mindset on how we've been taught. And like I said, it's not against him. It's just that mindset. The same people that's killing us now was the same people killing us then when he said, take up arms and defend your neighborhood. That's not living by the sword. That's defending yourself. That's that Christianity nonsense coming out. And that's what's wrong with us. Huey P. Newton had the same ideology as Jesus did. Bring back your people and build them up. And that's what he was doing. There we go. We're going to knock what's truth and knock what's fact, but we're going to believe in a fairy tale. And I'm not knocking nobody on here tonight, but we got to wake up, man. We just, live on air, we just heard somebody say Huey P. Newton lived by the sword and died by it. Huey P. Newton was building up his community. That Sister Shanty just called in and said a mouthful. Did anybody hear it? Just a sister saying that. Nah, not on this side. You ain't hearing me knock my ancestors. You will never hear me do that. Nah. So with that, it ain't nothing but love here, but you can't knock Huey P. Newton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers. I could go down the line, and many, many, many more. Those are ancestors, and he died for what he believed in. He was fed crack cocaine. Somebody sprung him out on that. We got to stop doing this and build our ancestors up as they wanted to build us up. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm sorry, I'm a fighter at heart, and sometimes I talk with my 2 fists up. See, we're not talking about Torah in biblical debates today. We're talking about real life and facts. And that's why I'm attacking it like I'm attacking it today, because we don't even love one another no more. You know why? We sit up there and cuss each other out over fables, man. And y'all not seeing this. We hate each other because one is a Muslim. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Go to the next caller, bro. I'm sorry, man.
Hey, I'm sorry, Chris. I just want to know, because I got knocked out, but somebody said something about Huey, like, because I heard you mention, like, did somebody mention Huey, like he...
Well, I brought up Huey P. Newton, how he was trying to build up his community, right? And he
right.
read the book of the law, not the Torah, but he was reading the law within the United States, right? And he was reading gun rights. And the first thing he used to tell people is the reason why the police do you this way is because you don't know your rights. And he started teaching everybody their rights. That's what he did. That's not living by the sword. And if that's the case, you're still teaching us to be submissive to our enemy. And they know it.
Okay.
They know this. They know we got them. They go like this. We got them. We got them spiritually. See, that's the biggest prison you can be put in. It's a spiritual prison. Because you are
so you're saying people are saying he got what he deserved.
Right.
You said, okay. I thought somebody had
They
said
that. I'm all like, that's crazy. Right. That's crazy when I heard that. That was crazy. And I'm sorry, man. I don't mean no harm to the Moray. He's probably twice my age. I mean no disrespect, and I would never disrespect an elder, anybody that knows me. But we got to get the facts straight. He lives by the law of the land, and that's what he was doing. So we can go to the next call.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in for a second. I think you may have missed my message. And the only reason why I'm going to say, and I'm just going to clarify, I'm not going to repeat everything that I said, but I'm in agreement with you. I said that the white man has set that narrative that look at what happened to your leaders, so why would you follow them? And trust me when I tell you, I believe that you meet people with the exact same force that they meet you with. So, yes, I believe in bearing arms. I believe in bearing whatever you need to bear for anybody who's going to have, anybody who comes at you as an enemy. So, trust me when I tell you, bro, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that Huey P. Newton got what he deserved. We need more men like Huey P. Newton. We need more men that are willing to stand up in the face of adversity. And I'll leave it at that point.
Some powerful points, brothers, and I'll expound on that real quick. Meekness. And I think what has been commonly taught in Christendom, meekness has been mistaken for weakness. And when we go into the teachings written, mediated through Moses, we can read Abraham and the meekness of Abraham, the meekness of the men that the Most High decided that he dealt with. Moses was meek. Meek means that you allow the Most High to impose his will upon you. It does not make you a cream puff sucker walking around here with a suit and a tie. Moses had to be meek when he rescued those women who were being oppressed by those men in the wilderness. Meekness is what the prophets had upon them when they were going out correcting the leadership in Israel when they were corrupt. Meekness is the prophet Elijah when he had the little battle with the prophets of Baal, and when the Most High had proved that he was the one and only true God, the will of the Most High was imposed on Elijah for those men to pull out the sword and slaughter those men who were the prophets of Baal. That's what meekness is all about. When you allow the Most High to impose his will upon you, and you go, and since his will is imposed upon you, you go all out and you destroy wickedness that's within or around in the community. You take it out. So meekness is not weakness. And I think that is what Christendom has done a number on our people. It has made us complacent and waiting for someone to handle our issues for us. And anybody else want to expound? I mean, Sal had to step away for a quick second. To the callers, if you're still there, forgive us for that. We had to take care of a few things. But once Sal get back, we'll most definitely go to the next caller. Anybody else?
Yeah, I wanted to say something on all that. I think remember how I mentioned religion, and I got cut off. What I wanted to say is a lot of things that we're talking about, the things we think will work, they can be used outside of the realm of a religious belief or a religious book. And I think that when the brother mentioned, things the Panthers were doing or whatever, the community is going to have different beliefs. People in the community are going to have different beliefs. They're not all going to be Hebrew Israelite or Christian or whatever. And so I think one of the things that we have to be willing to do, and we have to kind of ask ourselves, the things that we need to do, which has nothing to do with believe a lot of times, but the things that we have to do, are we willing to do those things regardless of what somebody believes? Because, like I said before, I think that's one of the things dividing us is what people believe. Now, we no matter what some of these beliefs are, everything that we're all talking about on this panel, you don't need belief for. It's you know what I'm saying? Like, but yet things we believe, we use that to attack each other, and this is my way's better than yours and all that stuff. But these type of things haven't shown us any results, and that's across the board. So what I'm saying is religion on its own, no matter what you call your religion, it's not big enough to deal with some of these problems. I think some of these problems are bigger than religion. I think they're common sense things, how we got to eat, how we got to get land, how we going to make money. I think that supersedes all religion. And I think if we're serious about building, we got to approach it that way and put all religions to the side, because that's how you really work together, I think. And, you know, and I think that's part of, you know, all of our, as far as what's within us, we all know we're supposed to treat each other good and all that type of stuff. So if we can do that, I think that we'll get somewhere, and I think that you can talk about all the other stuff secondary. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that we just have to look at the essentials as to what works, and you know.
Yeah,
that's just a big part for me. Go ahead.
Can I be heard? I don't know if I'm muted. Can I be heard? Okay. Yeah, that's a great point that you brought out, Joel. As far as beliefs and stuff like that, I think add to what you said, you don't have to bring religion in it, in the sense when we're talking about building up a structure and community. Laws, in a sense, we need to understand how we're going to set things up. We got to govern the community, and we have to have government. You know what I mean? So definitely, I think, you know, I can feel from that perspective. But to say whether I believe in Jesus or you believe in Jesus, or you got to believe this way, or you got to be from this nationality or this and that, I think that's a big issue, and that's why we stay divided in a way.
Yeah,
because
that's right. That's slowing us up.
When you look at us as a people, I mean, even within the Hebrew Israelite community, and even in the Christian community, you know, in all the communities, in a sense, you see the differences. You know what I mean? Like one Hebrew Israelite camp may believe one way, and another one may believe another way. So there go the division. You know, because like you just said, this way is the right way and this way is the wrong way. So now we can't get nowhere. You know what I mean?
That's right. It's
like,
part of the problem.
It's a part of the problem. So now we stuck in a position, and now where we have the knowledge and understanding to be good people and can actually make some noise in the world, but because I'm with this group and you with that group, now we can't do something. You know what I mean? And that's a big problem. So you know, I know, like I said, I know this show is about us black people and what is our problems. That's one of our problems, one of our biggest problems. You know what I mean?
Right.
We can blame other people, we can blame slavery, we can talk about all of that, but now we are conscious beings, and we have our own minds, and now we can see the problem. So now when we can see the problem, now we got to fix it. You know, I mean, if our parents grew up taught us wrong, well, now you know that you were taught wrong. If your parent was taught by high slave doctrine, in a sense, and you can see that it's wrong, well, now you know it's wrong. So now it's up to you to correct it. Now you can teach the children the right way, or a better way. I won't use right or wrong, but I'll just say a better way, or a different way. That might even be a better way, a different way. Because the way that we've been doing things hasn't been working for us.
Right.
So
because when you really look at it, Bleedo, you know what's funny about it, Bleedo? Like, and I know me and you talk a little bit about that, like the whole Hebrew Israelite movement, you know, as a whole, I have to be honest, man. I don't think it's helped us. I got to be honest about that. Yeah, you know, I've been one for 20 years. And what I got out of it is division, ego. Okay? Now, the good things that you get out of it, which is what I'm hearing as far as the positivity from the brothers who consider themselves within that, are how you treat your brother. Well, that's not something that has to be exclusive to a Hebrew Israelite movement. Okay? The things that we got from a Hebrew Israelite movement that was exclusive is what day you rest on, and, you know, ritual type stuff.
Right.
What a feast day is, what you eat. Yep. That's what I'm saying, man.
Yep.
That's what we got out of that. That's different from other stuff. But are those things that are essential for how we deal with each other as human beings? That's the question, man. And are we big enough to deal with that?
And to add to what you're saying, you know, we've learned how to treat our brother in a sense in Christianity. You know, even though it's a bad thing in a sense to some people, but we learned that in that movement. You know what I mean?
That's right.
The problem is, like you say, with
what did we gain?
And I don't want to, you know, direct it towards that. I mean, because like I said, I don't want to bash anybody's faith or say that anybody's wrong or for what they believe in. But I'm like you. I was a part of it, and I learned a little. I mean, I'll give them credit as far as learning the Bible, picking the Bible up, and dealing with the scriptures and stuff like that. I definitely give them credit on that end. But when it comes to building a nation and building a community and helping others and stuff like that, nothing. When it comes to credit, build like how to do things in this world that we live in, none of that. You know what I mean? None of that. And we can go into like the scriptures where it talk about not to charge interest and things of that nature to your brother. But we're not even in that position. So how can we apply that? We're not in that position. I'm not lending credit. You're not lending credit. So how can we apply that? So we have to get to a position to if we even use those things to get to the point to where we can apply those things. You know what I mean? So actually, I like to focus on what we can do now and leave our legacy. The way that Chris Harris is fighting for those ancestors, we want there will be ancestors. And we want people to say, hey, well, Bleedo and Joel, they created this for us, and they left behind this for us. Not that we just left them behind that they Hebrew Israelites, or not that we just left them behind the scriptures or understanding. We want to build to the point to where it's beneficial to them.
Right.
That's why I'm at with it.
So, Bleedo, I'm with you. So with that being said, Bleedo, what are some points that you can bring up that we can, for us one day, that hopefully we can leave something behind for our children? What are some key points?
Well, you know what? I mean, a lot of things change in the world, you know, as far as like now you got Bitcoin and all type of stuff going on. But I think one thing that I would like to see us do is create, well, first we got to communicate and come together and agree on these things. But I would love to see us create like an educational system to where we can begin to teach those things that we're talking about now with credit, and give the children and even some of the older people some of the tools that they'll need to be able to use in this world right now. That's one thing that I would like to see, and I think that is very possible when it can be done. But it has to take a lot of sacrifice. It has to take a lot of people sitting back and agreeing and being able to do those type of things. We all live in different cities and different states, so, you know, it's not going to be real easy. But if we can try to, you know, to at least put ideas together and start trying to work towards those ideas, I think it's very possible in the future that we can do something like that.
That's powerful, my brother. All right, Brother Sal, man, we got any more callers?
All right, we have one caller standing by. Let's go to 716-833. You're live in air.
Thank you for taking my call, Sal. Great topic and great panel. Now, the topic said man up. You know, it kind of confused me, you know what I mean, on the conversation, because it seemed like like the gentleman was saying earlier, you know, we're not looking for a scapegoat, you know what I mean? Because, you know, y'all, it's very disingenuous to put all the weight, you know what I mean, of the world on the shoulders of pastors. Because you'll find nowhere in Scripture where it tells you that the pastor can save you. The pastor can't save you, okay? And I also would like for you guys to give me a Scripture that gives you authority to sit here and tell people that they need to come out of the church. Thank you.
Let me answer that.
Go ahead, my brother.
All right, well, I'm not giving her a scripture to tell people that they need to come out of the church, but since she loves the New Testament so much, it tells you in the book of Revelation to come out of her, my people. What are her? All those whoredoms that sat on many waters, idol gods, Catholic churches, etc., etc. As I stated before, I'm not telling people to come out of a church and not to go to church because there are great things in the church. I'm just trying to tell people don't be a fool within the church. The same way I tell people don't be a fool within the Hebrew Israelite doctrine, the One West camps, or anywhere else. You got a brain, you got a neck, and you got a head. Use it.
Yeah, I'd like to add too. I don't think I'm not sure who said that you need to come out of the church. I'm not sure who said that to answer that question. But the thing is, if the churches if we can see problems in the churches, in the sense as far as like what are they doing to help the people, and we can actually visually see this, then we should have the right as a people, the same way that we quote unquote have the right to vote in all these politicians and things of that nature. Then we should have a voice in the church. And we should be able to go to these churches and ask the pastors, what are they doing in the community and how can we be involved in the community? And we should have that right to be able to do that. If we can't go to these pastors and ask these type of questions as far as how we can walk and do the things that God wants us to do, then I would say leave the church, because then then you have a pastor that's lording over you and is not your equal. When you read the scriptures, Christ said, let me think before I paraphrase and mess it all up, but you are my brother, I believe, or I am your brother, or you are my brother, no longer a servant, something along those lines. And if this pastor is a brother of yours and we are brothers together, then we should be able to work together. And that's how I look at it. Today, in today's generation, it's all about the church building, and this is the church building. This is why this guy is a pastor. But it should be about more than that. And anybody should be able to question and see what it is that this pastor is leading his church to, and what is the goal of this church and the message of this church when it comes to dealing with the community and black people in general.
That's powerful, my brother. And just to the caller, no one ever said on the panel to come out of the churches or we don't have to be in the churches. Pretty much what we were saying is that we're looking at these things in the black community that need to be examined critically. And if we're going to grow as a people and we're going to expound past oppression, we have to look at the things that are known to bound us by oppression, and the church has played a big part. We're not saying that the church is 100% to blame, but the church has played a big part in our downfall. And why? Because we have allowed it to happen. So again, to the caller, I don't know your name, sister, but no one here is speaking against the church, and we're just talking about the things that happen in the church that may have offended people and made people walk away, because there are a lot of people who used to believe who no longer believe. And with that, let's go on to the next questions. One thing that's powerful one thing that is known, another thing that's known rather, is hip-hop. Professor Griff said that hip-hop stands for high infinite power, healing our people. And one thing about it, in hip-hop in the beginning stages was a powerful, powerful force, a powerful drive, a powerful movement to where we can speak out against oppression through the form of rhythm. And when you have a message behind your lyrics, it's powerful. It can reach people. People will listen, and people will get involved and get active and make things happen within their communities locally and hopefully overall. Over the years, we've seen hip-hop go through many stages. And recently, and I'm a father, recently I had seen a video. I'm not quite sure of the rapper. And I don't listen to nothing mainstream anyway, but I had seen a rapper, and he was on there wearing a wedding dress. And on top of that, I had seen another clip of the video to where he was holding an assault rifle. I'm not quite sure what type of gun it was, but I'm assuming I'm going to go to my knowledge on guns that it was an assault rifle. And he got on his knees and he allowed a woman to put the assault rifle in his mouth. And this has a big effect on our children, not just and more condensed, our young men. When hip-hop or when the powers that be that promote this type of madness, what type of impact will it have on our sons and our daughters? And Brother Bleedo, if you don't mind, you can go ahead and expound.
That's a good question, man, because I actually do music in the sense of I follow music, and I believe you're talking about Young Thug, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's who you're talking about. But I battle with this, man, to be honest with you, man, because I've been doing music since I was young. And I do secular music in a sense, and I do conscious rap in a sense. And my thoughts and views on it as well will go with, as far as educating and things of that nature, is that we have a lower side and a lower nature within ourselves. and we also have a higher nature within ourselves. So with music, a lot of times, a lot of these younger kids, the younger generation, they tend to go to the lower side more because they don't understand their higher side, or they don't understand the higher frequency within themselves. So this is the reason why at times you hear or you see a lot of these rappers making this low vibration music, and these younger kids rolling with it in a sense. The thing I would say about that, and also to add to that, is that when you listen to, like, I'll give you an example, because I tried gospel rap too, and it just didn't work for me. But when you listen to gospel rap and you have a good message in the gospel rap, the only people that's going to hear your message is the people who listen to that type of music, which is gospel rap. Well, now, when I did that, I had a problem with it because a lot of these young kids that listen to my music, they heard the message in a sense, but they didn't want to hear it. It wasn't good enough for them. So I started to ask myself, how do I reach them with music? Because I am a musician. I have to reach them with music. So what I had to learn how to do was channel my lower energy and create the type of music that they want to hear, but not necessarily saying I'm shooting, killing, and doing all those type of things, because that's not what I do, but use those type of beats and things of that nature that they listen to, and then tell a story that we all, like what we talking about now and what we've been through, or maybe even tell a story about someone in the game that got shot or made the wrong choice or made the right choice, whatever it may be. So I had to learn how to use that energy to channel that, so I can continue to keep the young kids. Like my son is 15, he makes music as well, and a lot of his friends hear me rap, and they be at all like, man, your dad is real good, and I like his music. So hip hop, in a sense, is always going to be used for, especially now, as a lower vibration music. It is what it is, and that's something that I've come to grips to, that we have to accept in a way, because nobody that rocks on that lower vibration is going to want to hear all conscious rap or all gospel rap. It's just not something that they want to hear. So you will never be able to reach them. When you had the NWA days where they were making music like F the Police, think about what was going on at that time. You were dealing with police brutality and things of that nature. And again, that's a lower vibration. So the people was able to say, okay, the police were beating us brutally or killing us or whatever, and they were able to listen to that music and start to have a militant movement, in a sense, to fight back for their rights. So that's what music was used for then. But now it's like, you can make songs like that, and in a sense, it still may work. I'm not gonna say it wasn't work, but it's just something different, man. It's just a different time. So hip hop it definitely have an influence on the younger generation, but we have to find a way to give it a balance to where people that have information and things of that nature is able to use the music to be able to to be able to reach the youth, in a sense. And I guess that's the best way I can kind of put it. Especially if we don't use music, because the only people that, like I say, listen to gospel rap is those that's into that. You know what I mean? You're not going to reach nobody outside in the streets, or that might be, close to killing themselves or on drugs or none of that, and using gospel rap. It just doesn't work that way. So hopefully that explains it.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. And you know what? I can agree with you. On the points you were making. When it comes to hip hop, we have to get to a point. If it's going to be a weapon to heal our people, there's a rapper by the name of Hassan Salam, and there's a song that he brought out that he did. It's called "Music is My Weapon." So if we want hip-hop to be effective and to wake our people up consciously, especially our youth, because our youth are the ones who are being influenced, if we want our youth to look at it in a positive, I'm getting tongue-tied, forgive me, brothers. If we want our youth to listen to this music and to be effective, and hopefully it makes them into decent human beings, we have to find ways to reach out to our children, because nowadays our kids are being influenced and enticed by so many forces in the secular world. We have to re-examine our method of reaching out to our children. So with that, Brother Harris, man, you got some points you want to expound on this matter?
Yeah, Chris, you on the line, Chris?
Okay, no, I think Bleedo said it all that he could say. Me personally, I hate rap music now. it's not the same when I was growing up. I mean, I know things evolve and they get different, but man, dudes wearing dresses and wearing purses, that ain't cute. That ain't even cool. You know what I'm saying? I grew up listening to Nas, Pac, Big, Arrested Development, Pharcyde, and stuff like that, and we had like such a huge variety of music that we can listen to, and none of it was focusing on homosexuality. And I used to sit up there and say to myself, I wonder what happened, what is it going to be like when they had the first gay heavyweight champion? I used to say stuff like that. Now we got the first gay gangster rappers. That don't make no sense. In my mind, I don't even know how to approach this one. But what I will say is that destroys our youth, because I remember when gangster rap started influencing my era. You know what I'm saying? I know B.A. and Bleedo they can attest to that. Gangster rap influenced us. You see what I'm saying? And we wanted to be like the Eazies and the Pac. Everybody wanted to be Pac, you know what I'm saying? So we saw, Wu-Tang, we saw all that. So now these kids, they're doing what? They're seeing the little Yachis and the little Itchies and the Young Thugs, and it's, man, I'm telling y'all, people, we lost, man. And, you know, whoever promoting this, like that brother with that brother that wore that wedding dress and gave head to that the AR assault rifle like that, that's man-tan. That's man-tan. Anybody, y'all should watch that movie Bamboozled, because that's what we are right now. We are bamboozled people. We're broken and we destroyed. And that's man-tan. He's destroying his people on purpose because he's getting $1 out of it. Like I said, first they attacked us through the media. With the police assassinations. Now they doing it through our music. You don't even have to have talent anymore to rap. I remember you had to literally have talent to do that. You understand what I'm saying? I remember you had to have talent to do that. I'm a fan of Bleedo's music. Y'all should go check him out. He's actually a dope artist. But it's not like that anymore. I bought Machiavelli's CD the other day. That's like, that CD came out some 14, 15 years ago. So, man, music gone. They're destroying us through the media. They're destroying us in our culture now. Once they take our culture from us, that's it. We gone as a people. We got to learn how to have our culture, take our culture back, take our identity back, and we got to sit up there and hold on it and make it exclusive to just us. We can't always want to bring somebody else in, because once they come in, they take it and they destroy it. All right? Yeah, I said it. White people do that to our music and our culture. They monetize it. You understand what I'm saying? That's what they do to us. And then when they're done with us, they'll cast us out. They did it with jazz. They did it with rock and roll. They did it with R&B, and now they're doing it with rap music. But how can they do it through rap music? First, we got to emasculate the black male. It's one thing to have a Robin Thicke or some other gay guy singing our music, taking our producers, putting all the money into these white artists. Then the black artists out there left starving in the street with nothing. They monetize us and cast us to the side. They see what we could do, and then they say, okay, let's build up one of our very own and make him like them. And we go off, and you know what we do? We buy it. And we don't even fight for our own culture anymore. We got brothers on TV giving head in a wedding dress to an AR-16 or whatever type of rifle that was. Somebody need to handle that brother and find him. That's man-tan. I'm telling y'all people, we better wake up. So I'm gonna put it on myself first. I'm gonna be the first to start stepping up and being a better leader, since the name of the show is Man Up. And I'm gonna learn how to hold my temper a lot better and not take things so seriously, and learn how to see more within and step back and eye a situation out. But this is crazy. You know, with that, I'm gonna just relinquish the mic. Y'all check out Bleedo's music. It's actually dope.
Most definitely, I agree with you. When it comes to the Machiavelli CD, Brother Chris, it's actually 21 years ago when it came out, but it's all good. I understand. And most definitely, for those who are out there listening, my man Bleedo, he got a decent, real nice YouTube channel, and the brother's doing some good things with his material. Most definitely check him out. And before the call ends, I'm pretty sure we will let Bleedo let people know what's the name of his YouTube channel and his email, just in case you want to contact the brother. Brother Joel, are you there?
Yeah.
Go ahead, my brother. Follow up with the same question about. You remember what the question is, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, my brother. Expound.
Yeah, Chris, and by the way, Bamboozle is like one of my favorite movies. And Chris is right. There's a lot of cooning that's going on lately, and I think what happened. I think the way hip hop started was the difference in what it is now and the way it started. It started out as ours. It was ours. It was something that belonged to us, and it was something that was the message was something to uplift us. The message was something to educate us, and it wasn't about money. It wasn't about being a commodity. And I like listening to what KRS-One's breakdown of how all this happened and all that. They give a good breakdown of how this whole thing fell apart. What happened was it was something that see the whole thing is, are we willing to do something just like for us, or do we need to be a part of the establishment? Hip hop started out anti-establishment, and that was what was attractive about it to us at first. Like, we don't have to be a part of that. We don't have to. We can be ourselves. We're proud to be black and proud to be this and that, and it would show. They would display positive things about our culture at first, and so. But what happened is people wanted to make money, and the black community would have been the main resource as far as making money for that type of message. But if you want to reach the whole world, you know what I'm saying, that's when the establishment, they kind of took advantage. And so, a lot of the record companies or whatever, the white establishment, and Chris is right, they've been doing our music like this for a long, long time, rock and roll, everything. They made it a commodity for their people, and they said, you know what, let's pay some of these guys a lot of money to do it our way. So it didn't belong to us anymore. So that's why you had no longer, because it didn't belong to us, we had other influences giving us the images in the music and giving us the messages in the music. It wasn't our message anymore. Now the message is get paid, do this, do that, nobody, it's not educating anymore. It's just all entertainment, and I don't even want to get into all this stuff. I don't even, like a lot of y'all, I don't deal with the way it is now. But that's what happened. I mean, we kind of, I think people kind of sold out, and and that's what happened with it, man. I mean, we have to do things for us. We can't be we can't take something that's ours and then have the establishment push it for us. We can't do that, man. And we can't be greedy. We can't be like, well, that's how you make the money. Yeah, but what are you sacrificing to make that money? So we have to be willing to start small, and a lot of us aren't willing to do that. It goes back to that, I want it right now. So I think a lot of that happened with it. So that's my take on that.
Is Murray? Are you on, Murray? Are you on?
Yeah, actually his call dropped, but we do have a caller standing by whenever you get ready. Once again, family, the number is 319-527-6239. We have about maybe 30 minutes on the air, so if you have any questions or comments, family, just press number 1. We'll bring you in a conversation, but we do have a caller standing by whenever you're ready for that.
All right, we're going to hold off on that caller real quick. I want to ask one more question, then we'll go to the caller, then we'll call it a wrap. Last question, my brothers. Social media is one of the most powerful things. It's another powerful element that we have for this movement, or whatever it be, Hebrew or conscious or RBG or the various other phases that we have to reach out to our people. And I noticed that a lot of our brothers, we have love for each other, and there is a passion there's a passion for the information that we bring to the table. And we get to a point sometime to where we can get overly passionate because we're so grounded in the things that we believe that sometimes we may get offended where other brothers disagree with us or come against us. So the thing is that we know every now and then we have brothers going back and forth on social media, and publicly people are watching us. So what's the best solution to handle our personal issues with other brothers on social media? And I'm gonna let my man Chris Harris take this one if he's willing to.
All right, Chris, you on the line, Chris?
Okay. What's the next step we could take towards improving relationships on social media within the black community?
Yes, sir.
Was that the question? All right. Okay. Sorry, guys. I was dealing with this valve, and I just got the Freon going through there again. That was an amazing, only an engineer like myself could do. Hallelujah. Okay. So here's the thing. Sometimes you get what I like to call comment board trolls, and I'm guilty of it. Everybody on here is guilty of it. I'm not saying that Brother Joel is guilty of it. I'm just saying we all have done it. Okay? But when we start insulting each other over the cybernet or the internet, it can become a little bit personal, and people take those things personal. I know me and Sal had a pretty, decent conversation about it. Was it yesterday, Sal? I don't know if you're listening right now, but we had a conversation about it yesterday, and we got to hold 2 days ago. Yeah, we got to hold ourselves to a higher standard when we on the Debate Talk to You platform. And here's what I'm saying. James White, when you look up and down his board, ain't no cussing and fussing. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nobody calling each other girls and all that other stuff, insulting one another. Ain't nobody doing that up and down his board. They all in agreement on there. You see what I'm saying? So if you tune into a James White show, you know what you're getting. You understand what I'm saying? Look, it's one thing to post information because sometimes the best battles go on the comment board. But when you come on there and you start calling people a fool or you start insulting a person on the comment board, it becomes a little bit folly. You know what I'm saying? And we got to stop doing that in general, man, because I'm going to just tell y'all the truth. Me and So Real, we talk all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I know everybody don't like So Real. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people think he arrogant and all this other stuff, but So Real, a lot of stuff I don't agree with on what he does, but he lets you know he's doing it on the board. We just saw it the other day. He's doing it on purpose. You understand what I'm saying? But half of it is just his personality because he feels like what he's doing is right, is correct. But one thing you don't ever see him doing is insulting anybody. You don't see him calling people out their names. You can't say that about that brother. You really can't say that about him. But I can say that about myself, that I've insulted people on the boards. I've called people dumbasses, excuse my language. I've called people those things on the board. And that's just not cool. And moving forward, we all got to hold ourselves to a higher standard on the board. And I expect the same thing from the hosts, to moderate things and to hold them and to be responsible for the comments also, because that's where this is stemming from. During the debate, it'd be a great debate. But then when that comment board light up, man, I'm telling you, it's the same people on there all the time, trolling, insulting you. We got to stop that. You can always call up there and press number 1. Sal, he don't scan numbers. You can always call and press number 1. Like Amayan say, don't just be a comment board troll. Come up in the lion's den. And if you have a problem, and let me say this real quick, if anybody has a problem with the information that I share over the Debate Talk for You platform, you can always press number 1 and say, Chris, this where you wrong at. Or you can always say, Chris, I'll challenge you to a debate because this where you wrong at. That's all you got to do. We don't have to hate each other at the end of the day. So to the entire Debate Talk for You audience, if I've ever trolled you or insulted you, I apologize. But I'm competitive, and I get in my flesh too. So I got to stay in my higher self. I'll let that go. I don't want to be too long-winded. I don't want to also be the sacrificial lamb here, always apologize neither. So with that being said, shalom.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, and much love to you. My man, Brother Bleedo, you want to expound?
Hey, my call had dropped when you was asking the question. So
okay.
I heard you say social media, but that, and then it dropped, and I called right back. So I don't really know the question. Like, what was it?
Okay.
Can you just sum it up, and then I just.
Okay, pretty much our conduct on social media when brothers are having issues with each other. How should we handle it instead of always doing it publicly?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. Well, me personally, I just had an outing with a guy, did a video and everything. But me personally, I say, we need to do it the way that, it should be done as far as like phone exchanging and conversing with each other. So it don't have to be out in the public that way. You know what I mean? Oftentimes it's easier to communicate with each other, I say offline than online, because when you online, you kind of got to put on the show. Just be real with you. Like, people got to put on the show because they got an audience, and the audience is watching them. So sometimes you put on the show, and that's just being in a lower mind in the sense dealing with pride and ego. When you're in the ego, you're not going to allow somebody to embarrass you and things of that nature. So I think the best form of communication is just, conversing with each other offline. And if there's any differences, you handle it there. You be man about, be a man of your word. If you say, hey, man, I'm not going to do this on social media with you no more, in a sense. Because I've done it plenty of times. I've had a couple of arguments, in a sense, with people online, and we talk over the phone, and then we just squash it over the phone, and that was that. So I just think that's the way that, the best way to do it is just everybody from both sides converse with each other and talk the thing out and see if they can make ends meet. And if they can't make ends meet, at least you guys, at least the people had a conversation and you can move forward. And I think that's the best way to do it.
Thank you, my brother Bleedo. And brother Joel, you still here?
I'm still here.
Go ahead, my brother. Expound.
Yeah, I think it all depends what the media outlet is used for. Debate Talk for You and things like that are used for information. The debates are on information. So I think that it all comes down to what is progressive for our people and what's divisive. If people are using the internet or whatever for divisive reasons, then that has to be cut out. And I think that it can be a powerful thing if it's a resource, like just for information, a resource of information, When you have that, when it's just about information, you have no reason to talk about personal feelings. Well, such and such is a bad person. You shouldn't, this person's stupid, or this person, you don't need to deal with that person. That shouldn't really happen when you're just dealing with information. But because people, there's a line that shouldn't be crossed, and I think that's the problem with the social media. That can be a great thing, and it can be a horrible thing. The line that gets crossed a lot of times is that, like, people will be, they're dealing, it's supposed to be about this, but then people get personal and all that stuff. I mean, people should just use it for information and positivity and just keep it at that. That's what I think. I mean, I don't think that and as guys, guys are going to, puff their chests out or whatever. Guys are competitive by nature, and so, all of us have done that. We've got a little, had fun and stuff, and said little funny things or whatever, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, what are you talking about? You're talking about information. It should have never been about destroying your brother or making your brother look evil and all that stuff. That's the part that we got to eliminate, that kind of stuff. Like, there's nothing wrong with, as long as we all know it's about information and don't take it personal, then it can be a great thing. But when people start using it to tear each other down, then it's a bad thing. That's the way I look at that.
Hey, BA, can I ask for what you just said, too, real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, what I want to say, too, and with the information in the sense, too, see, that goes along the lines, again, of what we were speaking on earlier with religion as far as division. It takes a person who has a great information or good information or whatever it is to present it and not necessarily understand. Like, okay, I'm trying to see how I can put this without calling out nobody's name. Man. Okay, so let's say for an example, you have good information that you feel is good, but somebody else may feel the information is not good information. The minute you debate a person with the information, it's going to be hard for an individual not to be in their feelings if you're showing this person that his information is wrong. So when you deal like, for example, this show here, Debate Talk for You, it's a debate channel. It's hard for somebody not to be in their ego, because that's what debates bring out. It's no way that a person will not be in their flesh. So if I feel like I'm winning, or I feel like I have the truth and you don't, I may say you're a liar, or you may say I'm a liar. You know what I mean? Vice versa, because you're going to be in your flesh. It's just how it works. You know what I mean? And as far as like the personal stuff, I agree with Joel. It should never get personal. But if somebody calls you a liar, I mean, we are humans, so I mean, we have emotions and things of that nature. You don't know how that individual is going to react. You don't know what type of day that individual had. You don't know what's going on in that individual's life. Mm-hmm. So you know what I mean. So anytime somebody steps in the debate world, in the debate ring, you have to kind of almost expect it to get in that way. And I heard Chris talk about other people. Man, I've watched a whole lot of different debates on different channels of different shows, mm-hmm. and people be in the flesh. I mean, they be going at each other when they typing things, and sometimes you can type things and people get lost in translations. Like you can be typing something so nice and smiling, and they'll take it as if you being prideful and trying to tear them down. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I just think the best way to do stuff in that sense is if it gets to that point to where people are getting personal and they're not agreeing in the sense they have to be man enough to sit down and talk, especially if they follow the scriptures, because the Bible say forgive your brother 70 times 7, I believe. I ain't great at paraphrasing, but I think it say something along those lines. So we have to learn how to forgive each other, and if we can't get along, then we just don't get along. You know, we just don't build with each other. So that's just how I look at that.
Let me add to that, Bleedo. Can I add something to that?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Go ahead, that's a good point. Yeah, like it depends on your demeanor. Like some people don't need to be on social media. Like
let me add when I'm done.
People, huh? Okay. I was gonna say some people don't need to be on social media because they can't do what you said, Bleedo. Like. You should have we talk about man up and being men. Well, a man does just what you said, Bleedo. They talk face to face. You know what? And you know that's let's talk about this. I don't agree with that or whatever. Or even I think you're lying or whatever. If you don't have the type of demeanor or fortitude to be able to say that man to man without personal feeling, you can say someone's a liar and it's not personal. But some people can't. Now, the people that cannot do that, and they're, how do I say this without insulting, and they're emotional, then they don't need to do that because they're going to insult and they're going to, gossip and all these type of things. So, it just depends. Some people can handle it, some people can't.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Brother Harris, you can go ahead and expand on, brother.
Let me just piggyback off what Joel said. Me and Bleedo don't agree on a whole lot. Me and Bleedo, we'll argue with each other, but we're not fighting with each other over the phone.
Right.
Me and Bleedo talk almost every day. I mean, literally, me and Bleedo like to read Paul's letters. I be telling Bleedo, don't come to me with Paul's letters. You know what I'm saying? But Bleedo, he might have an idea. Bleedo might have an idea. Like, Chris, listen to this. And, he know I don't want to hear it, but I listen to him. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, okay, I can respect that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Because Bleedo has a teaching that he can teach that can really benefit people, I believe. It's a good teaching. I can respect it. You know what I'm saying? I might not agree with it, but I can respect it. You know what I'm saying? Me and Bleedo, I'm trying to tell y'all, me and Bleedo don't even fight each other. And Bleedo told me today, Chris, you sound stupid. You see what I'm saying? He told me that today on the phone. I didn't even take it seriously. So why is everybody always taking things seriously on these comment boards or on Facebook?
Right.
If it's about the information, right? If it's about the information,
And that's what it should all be about. If you can't answer a question, it's like, you know what? I came across a guy named Yirmiyahu Yisrael, and I think he's listening tonight. And I asked him pertaining to Luke chapter 2 and 38 versus Galatians 3 and 13 versus Luke chapter 4 versus Luke chapter 1 verses 70 through 74. That's talking about redemption when he was supposed to come. And I asked him this, and he said, well, Chris, I ain't got that far yet. He openly admitted it. He couldn't answer the question. And I could respect that. Nothing else needed to be said. He understood, okay, well, Chris got me on the question. I don't need to report back to him anymore. He didn't call me out my name. He didn't say I was stupid. He didn't play like he was smarter than me. There was no ego. That was it. Why can't it just be like Joel said? If it's about the information, let it be about the information. Half of us don't know each other off of here, but through our spirit, we was able to meet each other, talk to one another, and see that we have more in common as a people, as a person, than we do in these scriptures, but we're still brothers, whether y'all like it or not. Me and Bleedo talk almost every day. I could wake up in the morning and say, okay, Bleedo finna hit me up around 12 and jump on me about something I said and say it sounds stupid. That's what Bleedo do. So he not trolling, well, he trolling you, but he don't mean no harm by it. So like you said, the words. I'm just playing with you, Bleedo. Them words. I'm telling y'all, them words cut deep, especially when your doctrine ain't lining up and somebody lines that doctrine up and corrects you on it. Y'all heard last night somebody called in and said what they said because people get their feelings hurt in these debates. You understand what I'm saying? You put so much time into your information, and when somebody comes in there and out-debates you, it's almost like your ego shot. Because you got to stay in your higher self. You know what I'm saying? As Bleedo said, that Christ, that K-R-Y-S-T, that Chris, that Kyres, the higher self. We got to learn how to do that as a people outside the book. Let me add this. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish. My bad. No. We got to learn how to do that as a people outside the book. You know what I'm saying? Not just inside the book. You understand what I'm saying? That's it. I hope everybody heard that.
That's right. Yeah, and I want to add this to what he's saying too, and then you can take that caller. What I want to add to him is you got to look at life in the sense that you need that opposite. You know, that's the good thing about having debates and things of that nature. You need that opposite because that's how you get a balance. So, you know, me and Chris having dialogues or anybody else having dialogues and we have a disagreement, that's not actually a bad thing that we have a disagreement. It's actually a good thing because now we can present two sides of the coin. The thing, like I said, the thing of it is like with me and Chris, in a sense, we understand each other as people. So I can call him and mess with him and be like, oh, man, you sound crazy. Or he can mess with me and be like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. And we can still be cool because we understand each other's character and we understand each other as people. And sometimes in social media world, you don't understand people or you don't know people because the only thing you see is a picture and some words. You know, that's all you see is a picture and some words. So you really don't know that individual unless you want to get to know that individual. And like I say, me, I've always been the type of person to extend my hand to anybody. I give my phone number to anybody. I'll talk to anybody and things of that nature. And I've always been a loyal person. So I have no problem with, you know, having conversation with anybody outside of social media and outside of just typing to people. So, you know, I just wanted to add that, and if you want to take the other call or, you know, however you want to do it, I'm done.
Yeah, and I can attest to that, what Bleedo was just saying, because me and Bleedo, we got a chance to talk a few times, and the brother, me personally, he's reached out, and he has shared information with me, and he has also shared some sources with me that I just recently purchased myself that have helped me in my studies. So most definitely, Bleedo, I do appreciate you, brother. Same thing with you, brother Chris. I appreciate you, too, because he's also reached out, and we've had some powerful conversations as well. And with that, Brother Sal, let's go to see if we got any callers.
All right, we do have a caller stand by. Let's go to 916-747. You're live in there.
Shalom to you, brothers, again. This is Ashanti. I just have a few suggestions, if you will. I think it was Brother Joel when I came on. He made a comment about how to go about getting the resources and the finances. things to invest. Well, there are a few people out here I know personally. They are people of color. They do credit repair. There is a small cost, and we can't be afraid to pay the small cost, but the small cost pays off the big credit. So I have people on deck for that. Sal has my information. Brother BA has my information. I'll give you those people emails and things like that. There is a brother also. He's in college right now. A lot of the time, it's good to reach out to the people who are getting the education and are willing to give it out for free. But there is a brother. He's an Israelite brother. He actually is taking economics. He has a lot of information on investing, where to invest, how to invest, where to start with, what monies to put in and things of that nature. Also, Craigslist. I don't know if you guys know about Craigslist, but I and my husband, we start looking out for people who were giving information away about real estate. And we can't be afraid to go out to these people who don't have the same beliefs we do or have the same pigmentation that we do. They give information away for free. So we reached out to a lot of people on Craigslist. They taught us how to do real estate. They taught us how to invest. They be out here giving up the game, you know what I mean? Learning how to read books, learning how to play cash flow games, learning how to Think and Grow Rich, the book like that, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the famous Kiyosaki. But if you go out to those meetings and you sit there for about 1 or 2 hours, they're giving up the game on how to invest, where to invest, and things of that nature. They've been doing the research. One last thing I wanted to say was about going out and getting that information. Be passionate about your information, but the thing is, go to the people who are giving it up for free. I also, when people want to buy a home, I talk about down payment assistance. Please reach out to your real estate people. It doesn't take anything or cost anything to go talk to somebody who does real estate. They will tell you what down payment assistance programs there are. They will tell you what classes you need to take that are sometimes for free. They will tell you where you can go and what to invest in. They will give you the information for free. I know personally, because that's how I was able to do a few things. Just go ask the people, and they'll talk to you, and they'll give the information away for free. But just make yourself available. Don't be afraid to talk to people of other pigmentations, color pigmentations, because they will give up the information for free. Lastly, financial advisors. I talked about a financial advisor. You can go in and walk in the office and tell the people what you plan to do. It doesn't cost anything to go in there and talk to the people. I and my husband went to go talk to a financial advisor for about an hour. Didn't charge us nothing. If we don't make any money off of investments, they don't make any money. But the thing is, don't be afraid to give up a small percentage. And I mean, it's a very small percentage, like less than 2%. So the thing is, don't be afraid to go to those people. So BA has my information, Sal has my information, and that's what I wanted to give out to the people about getting resources and building us financially. With that, I yield. Shalom.
Thank you, big sis. One thing I will say about Sister Ashanti, she's a dear friend. I'm close with her and her husband, and they are like mentors to me. They're older than me. They're like a big brother, big sister to me. We fellowship together. We had the same Sabbath classes, and they are some powerful people, and they have been a big influence in my life. And the information she just shared, that is 100% dead on accurate. If any of you brothers out there are looking to get involved or find out some information according to what she just shared, let me know. We can give out her information to you, and she most definitely can help you with that. And for those who are listening, whether you're on the internet or on the phone lines, if you're listening, most definitely just contact us, and we'll most definitely see fit that you'll get that information. And so we're about to come to a close, and so I would like to allow the brothers to say some closing statements before we close out. So let's start with Brother Joel.
Yeah, thank you. I think that was some valuable information as far as what the sister was saying a couple minutes ago. And I think we've heard a lot of valuable stuff on the panel, like and a lot of honesty, and a lot of stuff was talked about that, especially from Chris, that some people don't want to talk about, and that we still need to talk about. And sometimes it's stuff we got to deal with, but I think things like this, these type of panels, are a good stepping stone. It's a good start, and I like it when people come together and try to come up with things and share ideas and share perspectives and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that's how we grow, and I think it's progressive. And when everybody has a common goal, there's no reason to fight and all that stuff. We know we're all trying to get to this place. So I think that the more we do that, the more ego will die, and the more dissension will, cease, and all these other problems that we have. I think as long as we keep doing that, it'll help. So, it's been great. Love being on the panel.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate your words. Let's go to Brother Bleedle.
Okay, yeah. I appreciate the invite coming out tonight. The great information from everybody on the panel. Even if the callers that called in, it was great information. Look forward to building again. If you have a future show or something like that that's similar to something like this, I definitely will be interested in coming back on and sharing more information, getting more information from the brothers and the sisters that was on the show. And like to say, man, just like I say, thanks for the opportunity, man, and everybody have a good night, and that's about it.
Thank you, Brother Bleedle. I appreciate you, brother, and most definitely I will stay in contact, and most definitely, brother, Zach, the information that you got, man, definitely interested to hear more of it. All right, Brother Harris, my man, go ahead, do your thing.
Hey, man, first and foremost, I want to thank the Most High. I want to tell Brother B.A. thanks for inviting me on, Bleedo Joel. And Lamore, I don't know what happened to you, man, but I really enjoyed your input and all your wisdom that you presented to the panel tonight. I'd like to thank the entire debate talk to the audience for always dealing with me. And last and foremost, I want to thank Sal for always allowing us to have, as a people, to have a format to come on and put together things like this, whether they be biblical debates or just straight up man-up sessions, or even the show Under the Palm with the Sisters. So let's respect Sal's format, and let's don't forget, donate. He's got shirts and hoodies y'all can go buy online. Let's support Sal so his platform can go to the next level. And who knows, you might be the next Cornel West on this platform, and maybe ABC or MSNBC might have you on their show because they discovered you on Debate Talk to You radio. And we're not a bunch of characters. We're people with feelings and different understandings. So let's come together and have great debates. We got a good debate coming up on the 22nd, and we got another great debate coming up with me and the Torah Knights next week. Hallelujah. All praises. God is to be worshipped alone forever. Selah. Shalom.
All right, thank you, Brother Harris. I appreciate you, brother. Much love to you. And with that, I'll say this in my closing statement. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you for your time. Hopefully the information that we presented was helpful. Most definitely, I'd like to thank Brother Sal for allowing me to host this show. Most High God willing, that we'll be able to continue to come back and bring more topics concerning our people and other topics concerning history, religion, and politics. With that being said, I'm going to yield. I'm going to fall back. And you go ahead, Brother Sal. You can close it out.